Each of them is an experienced performer. Their voices are loved by the public and have received rave reviews. But today, they've come to our studio to prove that their vocal abilities are phenomenal from a scientific perspective as well. Don't confuse it with falsetto. Will Rostam Yavayev, an opera singer, be able to amaze the jury with his unique voice? Indeed, he is a natural countertenor. Two-voice singing. Will Chabinsk-Shaman, Tagayan Kam, managed to demonstrate the very difficult styles of Tuvan throat singing. The highest pitch. Will Svetlana Ferduvala managed to prove that her voice range is so unique that it covers 4 octaves. Will all candidates pass the test of our learned experts? Who will best realize their voice's potential? And finally, whose vocal abilities will be recognized as phenomenal?
Hello, my name is Rustam Yavev. I'm 40 years old. I live in Moscow. I have a unique voice. I'm a countertenor.
Since Rostam Yavayev was a child, his vocal teachers have predicted a career as an opera tenor or baritone singer. But against expectations, teenage mutation didn't affect his voice at all. By his 20s, it had become clear that Rostam had a unique kind of opera voice. He's a natural countertenor, the highest of all male singing voices. The public didn't immediately accept such an extraordinary vocal gift. For a while, Rostam's talent was treated with disregard and his singing was mistaken for falsetto.
We're used to thinking in stereotypes. Do you know what I mean? Well, a man shouldn't sing like that. Well, we got used to listening to bass, baritone, because Russia was famous for its bass singers first of all, of course, right? Italy is famous for tenor singers. Well, and of course, it's easy to understand why people think so. Probably it's falsetto, but it's impossible to sing falsetto louder than an orchestra. It's impossible to sing falsetto for 4 or 5 hours.
Rostam Yavayev has already been a professional opera singer for 25 years. During this time, he's had the chance to perform on various stages, including the Bolshoi Theater in Moscow. His rare and extraordinary voice has even been studied by Vladimir Morozov, a famous scientist, psychophysiologist, and author of The Resonant Singing Theory. By the way, it was he who concluded that Yavayev's voice in pitch and frequency resembles the voice of Sergei Lemeshev, the legendary light tenor, who was famous in the USSR in the middle of the 20th century.
Hello, my name is Rustam Yavev. I'm a countertenor.
Rustam, are you a countertenor, soprano, or?
Countertenor alto, even closer to contralto.
You don't use the chest register, right?
Of course I do. I would like to sing the cavatina of Tancredi from Tancredi opera by Gioacchino Rossini.
Great, Rustam. And I, as a pianist, will accompany you.
That's very kind of you.
Indeed, those who possess such rare timbre can sing in traditionally female tessitura. Tessitura is a comfortable range in which a singer can sing long and with pleasure. Countertenors are the result of the development of the natural potential of the upper voice register. Countertenors use only part of the vocal cords, which lets them vibrate faster and sound higher as compared to singing in the lower register. But it doesn't mean that countertenors can't sing low notes. Many of them easily switch to tenor, baritone, or even bass.
Great. Rustam, I want to tell you that your voice is in high demand, one of the most popular in the world. I would recommend you sing not Rossini, but Baroque music, only Baroque music. There you'll learn everything. If you can do everything right, you'll express yourself like nobody else in this field, because you are a countertenor alto. You have a very good center, a perfect center, just perfect. You have quite a nice lower register. I would say it's perfect as well. As for the upper register, I would listen again if you would agree to go back through the range. In general, I very much like what you do. It's very melodious, and I'm very glad to listen to you.
Thank you.
Rustam, your voice is exceptional. You thoroughly master dynamics. Your voice has an outstanding dynamic range. I can't determine your frequency range. General range, I believe that it's quite wide. You have a remarkably clear voice. There are no signs of dysphonia or other acoustic dysfunctions.
Rustam, it was a pleasure for me to accompany you. You have a wonderful melodious voice. Wonderful coloratura. Very professional. Well done. Bravo.
Thank you.
But this doesn't mean that all members of the jury are ready to recognize Rustam Yevayev's voice as phenomenal. To form an objective opinion about the participant, it's necessary to determine his vocal range.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Sing the last note louder. Perfect. And now up from La, up and down, scales, scales. Your chest register appears very late in the last two notes.
I just don't want it to be prominent.
Well, you're right. I agree with you. Because you have to, the dynamic shouldn't be lost. The balance should be kept. Actually, you have a very good range, a pure alto range. The upper register is not so calm to some extent. You sing in it, and that's why you worry a bit. The lower register is absolutely normal. You just need to connect your chest and middle registers, and everything will be perfect.
When you answered my colleague's questions, you said that you didn't want your chest register to be prominent in the fullest extent. But the reason is different. Your collarbone shoulder girdle is quite tense. I'm talking about your muscle frame.
Probably I'm just nervous.
I'm sure that you're a very emotional person and you're very excited right now. When you sang the interval which fell on the first octave, you, as it's called in the acoustics, didn't hold the bass frequency. The most likely reason of it was your excitement.
I think so.
In other words, I would like to repeat that you have to be easygoing about it. About your performances.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Despite his extensive stage experience, Rustam Yevayev was nervous, possibly because he didn't show everything he's capable of. Or probably our experts were too captious. Well, let's see if our next participant is able to control his emotions.
Hello, my name is Teyurgen. I'm from Chelyabinsk.
Tyrgen Kam is a master of Tuvan throat singing, one of the most ancient and difficult styles. He learned it on his own about 12 years ago and became popular quite fast. Today, this talented master of throat singing is permanently on tour, trying to popularize the singing style around the world. Tyrgen possesses three main Tuvan styles: Kargra, Kume, and Saigat.
In other words, Kargira refers to the lower register, and Komi is somewhere between. Sijit refers to the upper register. To cut a long story short, anyway, Kumi is considered the most difficult style. It is referred to as the middle register, and a singer has to vocalize two sounds simultaneously. Besides, the singer has to control these sounds. In other words, each sound must be independent.
Tyrgen plays various ethnic musical instruments as well, timbrels and various jaw harps. However, he doesn't have any musical education. He's never measured his vocal range. Tyrgen confesses that everything that he does is 100% improvisation. Well, it's time to find out what our experts think about such an extraordinary performer.
Hello, my name is Tyrgen Kam, and I've come to demonstrate my skills.
Tyrgen begins with the Kargaya style, when a singer tries to sing in the lowest possible register. As a result, we hear sounds resembling croaks. By the way, these sounds are vocalized in one breath. And this is Kome, the bass style of Tuvan throat singing, and if you like, the most convenient way of singing in respect to vocalization. The singer is singing in the middle register. The sound originates in the singer's chest and mouth.
Perfect.
I would like to explain what this is to you. In other words, this small piece can be performed on this instrument as well. Besides the performer, for example, a jaw harp player can sing not only using his diaphragm and vocal cords, but also using the throat. I don't know what to call it correctly. Perhaps vocalize various sounds, imitate birds, animals, horses, and water drops. Something like that.
I wanted to ask you, you were about to vocalize the second voice. The second sound, everything was ready for it. Why didn't you do it?
I understand.
You're close to it. You have to make a little effort, and the second sound will appear.
Yes, sometimes I've managed to do it.
Tuvan throat singing isn't called two-voiced for nothing. When singing, especially using Kome, two pitches are produced simultaneously in the singer's mouth. The first pitch is constant. It's referred to as bordoning. It's the lowest sound in the entire polyphonic construction. The second pitch consists of selective harmonic frequencies, which can be changed at the singer's will. But Tyrgen Kam hasn't demonstrated his unique vocal technique to our experts yet.
Maybe you'll try and demonstrate it? You'll manage. You've already done it.
Thank you.
Double voice, yes.
What a pleasure.
Tjurgen, tell me if there are teachers or any people who teach this throat singing in the Altai Republic or somewhere else where you can go and study it.
I think that everywhere where the throat singing is practiced, there are schools for sure. But I had no teacher apart from my granddad. I can't say that he was a musician. He just tried to transfer his experience and knowledge to me.
He managed nicely.
Do throat singers need musical education? This question is disputable, and there's no agreement on this issue. Don't forget that Tjurgen doesn't have any such education. However, our experts can't estimate the vocal abilities of the participant if they know nothing about his vocal range or his sense of pitch. After a brief hesitation, Tjurgen Kam agreed to sing using notes for the first time in his life. By the way, can't read notes.
It doesn't matter if it's good or not. Do what you can. If you don't mind, we'll try.
In case I have no choice, right?
No choice. Are you ready?
Sure.
Let's try to do it vocalizing the sound A to match it. Okay? Vocalizing it not so fast for about 2 seconds.
Right, you got there in the end.
Really?
Yes.
I'm just trying to catch it. I listen to music like this.
Very good. Go on. Further, don't skip it.
I understand, but it's difficult for me. I'm not used to it. Wait a second.
Yes, bravo, bravo. Bravo, well done.
Are you sure? What torture?
I would like to express my opinion on the subject. It was a great pleasure to work with you. I would like to tell you that you have to concentrate on what you do. You don't need to accurately match notes like an academic singer. This is purely folk art, which you just have to devote your life to it and develop it inside yourself.
I can note the following. Of course, generally speaking, this is not singing. It will be extremely difficult for you to develop your skills.
Being not only a pianist, but also a composer, I wanted to use it somehow at once. I'm not kidding. Probably we'll combine our efforts and work together sometime. I just got an idea. If you don't mind, we can think it over. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On the one hand, Tjurgen Kam amazed the experts with his unusual vocal technique and his ethnic style. On the other hand, he didn't show all of Tuvan throat singing's capabilities. How will the experts estimate his performance? We'll find out later.
Hello, my name is Svetlana Fyodulova. I'm 30 years old. I live in Moscow. My vocal range spans 4 octaves.
Due to the extraordinary features of her voice, Svetlana Fedilova managed to set a record in 2009, which was listed in the Book of Russian Records. She was recognized as having the highest voice in Russia. She managed to sing a 4th octave C. But not so long ago, voice teachers were recommending that she end her career and not even dream about performing professionally.
When I was a student, I couldn't tame this voice. It seemed to be unteachable to some extent. Standard methods didn't work. Well, and they said I didn't meet the qualifications. They said that I'm hopeless, that it's not my business, and that everything is in vain. Well, frankly speaking, it hurt my feelings very much.
But Svetlana didn't give up. For several years, she took vocal classes with the world's best experts. She studied the laws of physics and acoustics to obtain better vocalization. She tried the most unusual vocal methods. Today, she's confident that she's finally managed to tame her unique voice, and she's ready to prove it right now.
Svetlana, we're intrigued by your dress.
I have a surprise for you. On top of that, I put on a doll dress because today I would like to sing Olympia, the doll's aria from the Tales of Hoffmann by Jacques Offenbach. I'm ready to help you make that happen. Thank you very much.
Olympia's aria is considered one of the most difficult opera parts for women. It demands special virtuosity from any soloist. Indeed, almost each bar of the aria must be accompanied with coloratura, special vocal techniques by which the singer has to ornament her performance. Svetlana Fedulova decided to make her task even more difficult by putting on ballet shoes. Now she needs to control not only her voice and all coloraturas, but also her balance.
Svetlana, bravo.
Thank you.
Svetlana, I have a question for you. This opera's staging is quite interesting as well. Initially, this doll is supposed to be dead.
Yeah.
Then they wind her up and she comes to life. After that, the mechanism stops. And it could be done much more colorfully.
Well, I agree with you. I just didn't want to put on a performance here today.
What a pity. I would have liked that. Of course.
Really?
Really?
I'll make a note of that. But today I wanted to emphasize my voice first and foremost and try to present it in a concert performance kind of way. But usually I play and goof around on stage.
That's great.
And run away, from the conductor to the audience. Then he follows me and winds me up again.
That's exactly what I wanted to see.
This is how they wind me up.
Like that?
Yes.
I would like to suggest you develop your cadences, trills, and melismas separately. If they're of the same quality as your vocal range, you'll be absolutely second to none.
It was beautiful. You sang very technically in a very beautiful way. And you used your head voice. And this resonating made your performance unusual. And everything you did going to the upper register and returning to the lower one was flawless. It was good.
Just like we agreed.
You know, I was fascinated by how effortlessly Svetlana does her work, because usually it looks like hard work. Here, I don't see any hard work at all. And it was a surprise for me when suddenly I couldn't see you. Yeah. And suddenly I heard some unusual sounds, and then I understood that you were dancing with ballet shoes on you. Well, it's wonderful, taking into account that the doll is top-notch for any coloratura. So it was good, it was really good. I would like, despite how easily you sing in the 4th octave and everything you showed to us, Ruben, probably the 4 octaves. We'll go over them, yes.
Our experts have made up quite a difficult vocal exercise for Svetlana, and if she copes with the task, we'll hear her unique vocal range of 4 octaves.
Сейчас.
Bravo! Well done, well done.
Indeed, it's a very interesting exercise, various positions. It's not so easy. It's easier to go from the lower register to the upper one. Then everything is in one position.
Yes.
It's interesting.
Yes, huge jumps.
Yes.
Such an exercise. I don't know anyone able to repeat it.
Really?
Yes, amazing. Just amazing.
While our competition has come to its end, it's time to get to know whose abilities our experts will consider phenomenal from a scientific point of view.
We listened to 3 people, Rustam Yaviev, Tjurgen Kam, and Svetlana Fyodorova. I'll start with our first person, Rustam Yaviev. He is a countertenor. Also, he has quite a rare voice. He's got a real aptitude for music. He showed himself to be a great artist. If we're talking about a person who caused true sensation by his phenomenal abilities, I would like to repeat once again that Rustam is a countertenor. There are alto countertenors in the world, not many, but there are some. So I can't say that it's phenomenal. But I can't say that it's ordinary either.
Indeed, Rustam showed really good skills and vocal technique. But as I mentioned earlier, the problem of the vocal cords approximation persists, which is caused by his excitement and anxiety. In this case, it's out of any scientific interest because if sooner or later he manages to cope with his excitement, with his unstable emotional state, it'll be wonderful and amazing.
Tjurgen Kam demonstrated things which we hear rarely, genuine things which must be conserved, popularized, and promoted. Yes, he showed a lot of it. He played instruments for us. It was very beautiful, interesting, informative, and heartfelt. Like a journey to ancient times. It was great. But he didn't demonstrate the second voice which must prevail in the Tuvan singing.
Well, it's quite impressive. He showed a lot of various things, various vocal styles. He had to solve very difficult tasks, both professional and psychological. Because, for example, Tiergen isn't used to such trials at all, and frankly speaking, we have to thank him for meeting the challenge, for not fleeing from us. Bravo! And of course, he amazed me with his special attitude towards life. Not only towards his own life and towards his singing.
All in all, the mechanism of such singing is quite simple because the vestibular part of the vocal apparatus and the upper larynx are involved here. When the second voice is about to appear, the upper esophagus is involved, and that's no secret.
As for Svetlana Fyodorova, she showed phenomenal abilities because such vocal range is unique in vocal practice the world over. So, as you probably understood, I vote for Svetlana Fyodorova.
She perfectly controls her voice. Besides, her performance is emotional. As we mentioned earlier, everything she does is beautiful, including her acting and so on. I think her abilities are the most interesting, both from practical and scientific points of view.
I think we've come to the agreement that Svetlana possesses these phenomenal abilities. That others have wonderful abilities as well, but these abilities, unfortunately, are not phenomenal.
For a successful solo career in opera, whether for a man or a woman, a vocal range of 2 to 2.5 octaves is enough. Svetlana Fedyulova's vocal range is 4 octaves. Besides, she possesses quite a rare timbre, a coloratura soprano. This is the highest of existing female opera voices. However, our experts don't know more precise characteristics which could describe Svetlana Fedyulova's phenomenal vocal abilities. That is why they decided to determine precisely all the physical parameters of her extraordinary voice. Indeed, any scientific phenomenon must be described. At present, the only medical examination which allows it to be done precisely is the method called acoustic analysis of voice.
The acoustic analysis lets us precisely determine several voice characteristics. In particular, such characteristics as bass frequency, dynamic range, time of maximum phonation, and so on. Besides, it helps to estimate the voice type and some defects, the presence of noise harmonics. The acoustic analysis lets us determine voice disorders, caused by both functional disorders and organic pathology.
Svetlana, are you ready to begin our observation?
Ready?
You have to stand in front of the microphone so as the distance between your mouth and the microphone is 30 centimeters. You have to keep this distance at all times during the observation. I'm going to ask you to count from 21 to 41 with your usual voice. Are you ready?
Yes.
Go on.
21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
The acoustic analysis of voice is a modern computer method. It doesn't demand any special preparation. You only have to warm up your voice in advance to sing or recite something. The analysis itself consists of at least 10 mini-observations. As a result, during the observation, the main physical characteristics of not only vocal, but also speech voice are determined.
Now we need to determine the loudness of your scream. For this purpose, I'll ask you to pronounce the phrase, "Hey Tanya, come to me," using 4 various intonations. These are grief, joy, plea, and anger. Ready?
Yes.
Go on.
Hey, Tanya, come to me. Hey, Tanya, come to me. Hey, Tanya, come to me. Hey, Tanya, come to me.
The next stage is the checking of Svetlana Fedyulova's vocal parameters, namely the determination of her working vocal range.
For that, I'll ask you to sing some composition, some vocal music. 1 minute long.
Everything is as we expected. The observation demonstrates that Svetlana has the vocal range of 4 octaves. All in all, her working range is more than 45 halftones. Well, let's proceed to determining the voice spectrum.
Now you can see 5 vowels. You have to pronounce each of them for 2 to 3 seconds using your singing voice, with small intervals in between, so that the spectrum of all these vowels can be clearly seen on the monitor.
The spectrogram of your voice lets us estimate online the bass frequency in hertz, determine the quantity and stability of overtones. In other words, to determine the so-called singer's formant in the lower and the upper registers. It's believed that a prominent low formant makes the timbre mellow, smooth, and massive. A prominent high formant determines the loudness and the ability of the voice to be heard at considerable distance, qualities which are extremely important for any singer, not to mention an opera singer.
Singer's formant, the high formant, is well expressed and, according to the results of the observation, reaches 11 kilohertz. This is characteristic of the coloratura soprano.
And finally, the last stage of the observation is the determination of phonation time. In other words, we'll find out how long the process of vocalization takes in Svetlana's vocal apparatus.
Svetlana, I suggest you take notice of your breath. According to the observation, the maximum phonation time is 17 seconds. The standard is more than 21 seconds. As for other physical vocal parameters, they're all within normal range.
Well, of course, this observation was interesting to me. It was very interesting to get to know not only about my vocal abilities, but also I got to know about the breath as well. I took note that I need to train a little. Probably at present. I have such a tight schedule right now. I have lots of concerts and so on. Probably my body is tense.
According to the acoustic analysis of Svetlana's voice, no pathologies were discovered. All the important physical parameters of her phenomenal voice are within normal range. However, during the observation, it was found that Svetlana has too small a phonation time required for an opera singer. To put it simply, at the moment she lacks breath to sing freely in her tessitura. Such a disorder is temporary. As a rule, it happens when vocal cords are overloaded. However, if Svetlana Fedyulova follows the voice regimen and finds time to rest a bit, she will definitely restore her unique voice quite fast. It's obvious that even if you're naturally gifted with phenomenal abilities, that doesn't at all mean that their resources are unlimited. After all, even geniuses sometimes need to rest.